You know what you need to do to be healthy, but you just feel like you're spending your life scrambling and you just keep falling off the wagon. It's almost like you can't get out of your own way. Well, we're going to talk about that today because what I think is that you don't actually need more information. You need the information that you know to actually stick. And that is what we're going to be talking about in today's podcast episode. Now, these things that I put on my planner are not going to be some magic, surprising thing that you've never heard of. They are unsexy, and you probably already know them. But knowing what to do and actually doing it and being able to implement consistently those things are two completely different things. And that is my zone of genius. This is what I help moms do. So today we're going to talk about not just what to plan, but why these things may be a struggle for you to actually implement consistently in your week. Are you ready? Let's dive in. The first thing that I get on my planner when I do my Saturday planning session with my husband, which is just where we get our core needs onto the schedule, the planner for the upcoming week. That first thing that I put on there after appointments, so I plug in all my appointments that I have that week. If I have coaching sessions with clients or if I have doctor's appointments, things with my kids, field trips, those things all go on my planner. And then the next thing I plug in is gym time. I block out the time to go to the gym. When it has a designated time, it becomes an appointment in your brain, and it makes it a lot easier for you to accept doing it. For example, you would never skip your kid's doctor appointment or a parent-teacher conference or your kid's soccer game because it's on the schedule and it matters to you, right? So what you've subconsciously decided is that you don't deserve the same commitment as the soccer game or the parent-teacher conference or whatever other appointment that you actually make the time to get to. So a lot of the times, moms and the women that I work with will unconsciously erase their own stuff first when the week gets full. So one strategy that I utilize with my clients and with myself to make sure this doesn't happen is to get in that mindset that your gym time is an actual appointment with yourself. And I plan for it on the weekend. I put those gym days, or if you work out from home, I put those times in the planner before other things so that it actually happens. And I block out an appropriate amount of time. A lot of times in the past, what I used to do was I would say, oh, I'm going to work out at this time. Like, when my husband gets home from work and he can watch the kids for a bit, right? Well, then I'm like feeling the pressure. Like I don't, I need to get dinner on. I need to, I want to talk to him about his day. And I haven't actually designated a solid 30 to 45 minutes to do the workout. And then it turns into this, I'm just going to cut it shorter. I'm going to not do everything. And then I'm not actually getting a consistent, solid workout. So that's the first thing that goes in my planner is the gym time. The second thing that goes in my planner every single week is my meal planning time. I do this on Monday nights and I plan the meals for the following week. So I do it a little bit earlier probably than most people. Sometimes people like to plan their meals right before they go to the grocery store, and that's okay. But I have found that for me, when I get the list done, then if we have random things that I'm supposed to send to school that nobody told us until the night before or whatever that I need to add to the list during the week, I can add those things as we go. When you don't have any sort of a plan, every single night is a bunch of decisions. You have to decide what you're having. What do you actually have? Will the kids like this? Will my husband like this? Will I like this? And by 5 p.m., your brain is fried. So the path of least resistance is usually the one your brain is going to push you to because it wants you not to be stressed out. So when you have a plan, when you have a solid meal plan, the decision is already made. You're just executing on what's already there. And for you, if this feels like, I just don't want to plan one more thing, Rachel. I feel like I already have so much on my plate. I'm already running behind all the time. Planning one more thing is just the straw that breaks the camel back. Like I just can't do it. And if that's you, I get that. I get that. But I want you to think about your meal planning time as time and energy saving throughout the week. Because if you're not having to make those decisions at 4 p.m. on a school night or 5 p.m. on a school night, then you're much more able to show up for your family well. And you're much more likely to make a healthy choice because the stuff is already there. So it's actually something that's going to make your weekly lift of your week, right? Like the stuff you have to do, your mental load, it's going to make it lighter, not heavier. So what I would suggest is pick a consistent night that you want to meal plan, set a reminder if you need that, and you can plan your dinners specifically. I talk about dinner a lot because that's usually the most involved meal, but plan your dinners based on kind of what's going on that night. So for example, if you have sports that evening, maybe a crock pot meal is a great idea, or leftovers, or you plan an eating out night. Like that's fine too, as long as there's a plan, okay? And remember, if you create a meal plan rotation, this makes it even easier. I swear by my meal plan rotation, and it just takes away so much decision fatigue. That is a topic for another episode, though. The last thing that goes in my planner, so we talked about the gym time or workout time, we talked about the meal planning time, and the last one I want to talk about is shopping. Now, you may be thinking, Rachel, everybody has to shop. Like, that's not like a core need. But actually, I really think it is a core need. Because for so many years, I lived with shopping being a reactive thing. So I'm going to the grocery store because I critically need something. And that way, when I shopped like that, it's something that I'm adding to my plate that I was not expecting. And if you're going to the store, this was my mentality. If I'm going to the store, I might as well try and grab as much as I can there that we need. So then you're frantically making a grocery list in your head, or you're scrolling through the pantry and trying to figure out what do you need. And you're grabbing things while you're there that you may not even need to have. And it's generally a stressful experience. You forget things, you might not have a list, you're wandering the aisles. And probably, if you're like me during that phase of life, your kid is also melting down or trying to throw pickle jars on the floor. All right. So when you actually have a plan, when you have your, or like a list, a proper list based on your meal plan that you made that week, you have that there, and then you schedule designated time to shop. You can take your time there. I usually give myself, I guess I would be in and out in about 45 minutes, but I give myself that time. Like this is blocked out. I'm not scheduling things and running to go in the grocery store for 15 minutes and trying to grab as much as I can and being rushed. I don't want to live my life rushed. I don't want to live my life just scrambling. And I bet you don't either. I bet you don't either, because that's not how we were designed to live. So when you have that list and you have that designated amount of time to shop, shopping stops being a stressful experience for the most part. If you have little kids, then there's always going to be some element. But if you can not add on top of toddler, small child stress, the stress of, I don't know what we have in the pantry and I'm at the store right now, that lessens things a lot. And you can be a better mom when you're not reactive. So when you have that list and you're able to go in the store and you have the designated time, you can take your time to read the labels. You can actually think about what you're eating. You can look for the best produce instead of just frantically grabbing stuff and throwing it in the cart like I lived for many, many years. And you know what I was thinking about was a lot of this stuff, like the reactive grocery shopping, not having a meal plan, not making time for the gym, or the gym just constantly being the last thing and falling off. A lot of that chaos isn't because you have too much to do. I was thinking that it's honestly like because you are constantly reacting. I think that was my issue for a long time because every single crisis that happened, the empty milk jug or the homework that somebody didn't turn in, now I have to help them with it, or the project, what it does is it bumps your priorities. And a lot of times your health is the first one to get bumped because you do care about your health. I believe that. You absolutely care about your health. But when there's a fire going on, your brain is saying, no, actually, this thing right here, taking care of this fire is priority, not going to the gym, not doing your meal planning, not, blocking out 45 minutes to grocery shop. No, this crisis is what we have to take care of first. And so it's not that you don't care about your health or you need to care more. It's that your brain has shifted the priorities based on that moment. And so the fix for that isn't just to care more, it's to have fewer crises. Crises? Is that the word? Yeah. Have fewer crises and set up your week so that the crises are less, like less often. And that is why, honestly, that is why I built my program, the Fat Loss Formula for Moms. I don't just hand you a meal plan and a grocery shopping list like thousands of other health coaches out there. And then just good luck and you need to record all this food, right? My program is 12 weeks where someone's actually walking alongside you, helping you build the structure, the habits, that weekly rhythm, so that these three things that I just talked about actually stick. And accountability, honestly, is one of the biggest factors that the women that I work with talk about that they need, right? That's what they're looking for the most. It's not more information. It's not a hack or better meal planning software or whatever it is, a PDF, a freebie, a guide. It's someone who's in it with you. That is what they benefit from the most, and that is what they need. The women who work with me have made that connection. I need accountability to help me implement. And if that's you, if you're listening to this right now and you're thinking, I know that I can do this. I know what I need to do. I just need the support to actually do it consistently. I would love to talk with you. The link is in the show notes to book a free discovery call. It's no pressure. We're just having a conversation about what's going on and whether working with me might be helpful for you. So I would love for you to consider that. All right, so we talked about three things, and we talked about the meal planning, we talked about the gym time, and we talked about having designated shopping time. I want to give you one quick tip about shopping before we wrap it up is pick a day or time for your shopping session and make sure you give yourself probably 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how much you have to buy. I buy for a family of 7, so probably I take a little bit longer than most people, but make sure that you're having a planned trip to the grocery store. And I would say that it may still be stressful, especially if you have kids with you while you're grocery shopping, but a planned trip to the grocery store with a good list is still better than an unplanned trip to the grocery store with no list with a toddler. So that would be my tip for you right there. All right, so the last thing I want to see here is that none of this stuff that I've talked about today is actually hard. It's not. Writing down when you're going to the gym, when you are meal planning, and when you are going to the grocery store is not inherently difficult. So you need to ask yourself, why am I not doing this? That gap between having that structure and then your ability to implement is what you need to dig into. You have the intention, but then what's going wrong there? And that's something that I want to prompt you to think about. And that's one of those places where accountability changes everything. You have someone checking up on you and it makes the commitment real, right? We're so easy to give to others and to keep our commitments to other people. And so you can leverage that to help you create the healthy habits that you want to consistently implement. So, what I want you to do this week, your action item, is just put one of these things on your schedule for this week. Just start with one, okay? Get that down. Get it so that it's on autopilot. And if you're having resistance to it, I want you to dig in there. Is it your systems that need help? Is it you have some sort of subconscious self-sabotage going on? I don't know what it is for you, but you can figure it out, and I believe that you can. All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you next time on the Effective Weight Loss for Moms podcast.